Hey y'all, welcome to TNT because we drop the bomb where we keep it real, raw, and unfiltered about the world of caregiving.
That's right. We are two seasoned caregivers from the same neighborhood, working in two different worlds. One in private care, the other in facility care.
I'm Natasha. I'm a certified medical assistant and I'm working in the private caregiving sector.
And I am Tasha. I am a certified nursing assistant and I work in long term care.
We're here to share our experiences, drop some knowledge, and maybe spill a little tea on what really goes down in the caregiving world.
So, whether you're thinking about becoming a caregiver, are a caregiver, or just curious of what we do, this is the place for you.
So grab you a coffee, a little sip of tea, something a little nosh on. Sit back and let's get right into it.
Hey girlie, how you doing this morning?
I am well. How are you?
I am blessed, honey. I am blessed. I got me a little cup of coffee. Now, y'all don't get after me from a Starbucks cup. I happen to like this cup, and I done had this cup for 2 years. So
All right, I
there is
won't. Well, I
there's
just
there's
finished
no
my
Starbucks.
protein shake.
There you go. There you go. There you go. This is homemade coffee.
Oh,
Keeping my coins in my pocket.
boom, boom.
That's right. That's right. So these little golden nuggets we sprinkle in today, we are talking about the sandwich generation.
Yes.
We are navigating the caregiving journey. We got some statistics. We're going to talk about some challenges and the tips for adult children.
Mm-hmm.
So, welcome to this week's episode of TNT, peoples, where we are diving into the realities of caregiving, especially
Yep.
as adult children, preparing to support our aging parents. As I am a 52-year-old with parents in their early 70s. Now, when I say that, please don't go tell my daddy that I said he was in his 70s because he might knock a few bucks because he don't like that. He seems to think that that is not his age, that he's
Okay.
younger than that.
Okay, daddy.
So
Okay,
I
daddy.
say, hey, do your thing, sir. Do your thing. Okay. But I, along with my siblings, we are approaching a phase where, caregiving becomes a significant consideration. Now, both of
Mm-hmm.
my parents are still up and moving. My dad still jogs every day. I can barely
Ooh.
walk every day, and my daddy is out here running up and down the highway every day. Okay.
Okay.
But today, we're going to explore caregiving statistics. We're going to discuss the challenges faced by caregivers and share practical tips to navigate this journey effectively. So it says statistically, because I've been looking up the statistics,
Okay.
approximately 43.5 million adult family caregivers provide care for someone age 50 or older.
Okay.
That is something. The 30% of family caregivers caring for older individuals are themselves aged 65 or over. Another 15% are between the ages of 45 and 54. That's you and I, sister homegirl.
That's you and I.
So we are caught up in this what they call the sandwich generation.
Generation.
At
Not the Pepsi
at least
generation, the
11.
sandwich.
Yes, I'm going to explain that in just a second, y'all. Hold on. At least 11 million Americans are part of the sandwich generation, simultaneously caring for their children and aging adults. Excuse
Yeah.
me, slash aging parents.
Mm-hmm.
Currently, like I said, to God be the glory. My mom will be 70 this year. We're trying to figure out what we're going to do for her. But my dad is like 72, 73-ish. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and like I said, my dad still jogs every
Mm-hmm.
day, at least 3 miles a day.
Okay.
My mom is still, she's retired and she's home and she's enjoying her retirement, honey. Let me just
Okay.
tell you, she is tiptoe and tap dancing all through the house. She is enjoying herself. Um, so we don't, my sister and my brother and I don't have the issue of us
Mm-hmm.
having to be there with them all the time.
Right.
And even if we did, I don't, neither one of us would have an issue with it because
Mm-hmm.
our parents, all they want to do is crack jokes and laugh. It is like the
That's all.
older we've gotten, the more jokes they want to crack and this, that, and the other. So, we don't,
Mm-hmm.
that's not so much as our issue. Now, my mom does have, she's had 3 knee replacements,
Mm-hmm.
and every now and then her back bothers her. But for the most part, they are in good health and they can do for themselves. Now, sadly, my sister and my brother and I, or let me say this, retract. My sister, my brother, and I are all in healthcare. So that is where my parents' blessing lies in.
Mm-hmm.
That they have all 3 of us who are in healthcare and who can assist, and we understand the lingo and this, that, and the other. So that is their blessing. And I don't see my parents slowing down anytime soon.
Okay.
I don't see it happening. However, if it did, my brother is not a caregiver in the
Okay.
the the normal sense of caregiving and
Okay.
bathing and this, that, and the other. I won't say to you that if he had to, he couldn't or would
Okay.
not. Um, but everybody caregives in their own
Way.
way,
On your way.
you know. And for so far as for me, I'm the one with the children and then also the grandchildren.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty involved in my children's life and I'm involved in my grandchildren's life. So I
Mm-hmm.
am the sandwich generation, um,
Mm-hmm.
because I still have my kids and my grandchildren, and then I still have my parents, and I'm in the middle,
Mm-hmm.
and then my kids become the sandwich generation too,
Yep.
because they have their kids, then they
And
have
you have
me,
you.
they have their grandparents. My
So what
kids are
kind of
like, Mom,
sandwich
what
is
are you
that? Is that a
doing?
BLT? What kind of sandwich is that? A BLT?
We're gonna go with a
Maybe.
Big Mac.
Okay.
We's a Big
Okay.
Mac. We's a
Okay,
Big Mac. What
girl.
kind of sandwich are you? Because since we talking sandwiches here, girl, I'm here for it.
Let's see. Okay. So my parents are around about the same age, give or take. My dad's mom is still alive.
Mm-hmm.
So he has her along with his
Mm-hmm.
other 4 siblings.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, they all have their healthy lives with their children. Um, so it's my dad and his mom. Then it's my dad and us.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I will honestly say, um, we have been blessed to be
Mm-hmm.
self-sufficient,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Mm-hmm.
to where to where our parents really don't have to worry about us, as far as finances and health, and and of course health wise.
Mm-hmm.
Um, then we have each one of us, because there's 3 of us. Each one of us have kids,
Mm-hmm.
so that's another layer to the sandwich.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, I am the only one that has grandkids. So that's another layer
Mm-hmm.
to the sandwich
Right, right,
that
right,
just
right.
that just stems from my dad,
Yes.
you know, from
That's
my
true.
dad. Um, and so just like your children, my children have to worry about their kids and then
Mm-hmm.
me because I'm not home,
Right.
because
Right.
I am so far away, you know.
Right.
And then of course, like I said, I have my parents. Just like your parents, we thank God that they're healthy, still in
Yes,
good
sir.
health. Some minor things, maybe a little poor circulation here and there. Nothing major, no heart
Mm-hmm.
issues, no, none of that. Then, then it's my kids. So I think for me, I think the type of sandwich that I am, and I don't even like them. Burger King. I think we are a triple whopper.
There you go.
I
And
think
I
we
don't
are a
even eat
triple
from
whopper.
McDonald's no more, y'all. So don't get after
Yeah,
us in the comments, okay? It ain't
yeah,
like
yeah. Please don't do that.
I'm not
Yeah,
patronizing them. Just
yeah. Right,
saying.
right,
That's
right,
the type
right.
of
Because
burger.
I
That's
have
the
not
type of
eaten
sandwich
Burger
I am.
King. Look, I have not, on a side note, I have not eaten Burger King since high school on Folly Road.
Oh,
When it burnt down, I said, burn, baby, burn. Oh my God.
Folly Road don't even look like Folly Road that we know.
Yeah, but that's for another subject.
That's for another
Mm.
subject. But yeah,
Auntie,
this
yeah.
I think about if the Lord should ever decide to sit my parents down
Mm-hmm,
and say, yeah, there's no more jogging up and down this road for you,
mm-hmm.
ma'am. There's no more you just tiptoeing and skedaddling through the house. I'm gonna need you to
Right,
just sit here in this chair for a second and let other people, you know.
right.
And I see that my sister and I and my brother, we would do just fine.
Mm-hmm.
My sister kicks in for my uncle who lives right across the road from my parents right now, one of my dad's brother. My sister
Okay,
kicks in for our cousins who are without a parent right now.
okay.
So my sister is being, she's being the missionary and doing her
Mm-hmm,
part. And when I'm up and moving as well, I also get around and do my little health checks on them and check them
mm-hmm.
out and ask
Right, right,
questions. And they be looking at me like, and when I hug my dad, I feel the inside of his arm.
right.
Please, like, stop doing that.
You all right? Feel that lump right there. You okay? You okay? Yeah, yeah. And
We're just checking on
I,
you. Said.
and I think now because as the world and technology has progressed, we
Mm-hmm.
are more, hopefully, because not everyone, we are
Mm-hmm.
more aware of our family's history,
Mm-hmm.
so we kind of steer our parents, I really don't want you eating too much pigtails and those greens. You know, I think we changed our diets a little early
Yeah.
before
That's
health
because we're the
reasons really set in. Because
right.
technically, when you think about it, our their grandparents did not live as long.
Mm-hmm.
Like my grandma, um, May 2nd, she'll be 95.
Oh.
She'll be 95. So when you think about things, it's almost like we immediately do a reset in our minds to automatically
Mm-hmm.
start changing our diets. And
Mm-hmm.
especially in the African American community, we know we already
Mm-hmm.
suffer from diabetes,
Mm-hmm.
hypertension. So we automatically, I think now we just start switching over to like things with
Mm-hmm.
less sodium. We don't do a lot of the
Right.
Chinese food no more. We don't do a lot of the church's chicken or whatever it is now that they have. We just kind of start doing more baked and broiled. We just
But
kind
that
of lighten up on
also
the salt.
that is for me, I believe that that is our generation
Mm-hmm.
that has kind of changed up some things. Um, because we've become woke. Um, I think I know that's where a lot of it for us come into play. And on top of that, along with us, we're just a tad bit more educated
Yeah,
and we're using our brains for more than just hat racks and
yeah.
just more than just to put hair on. So I think it has to do with your level of intelligence,
Mm-hmm.
whether it is mentally intelligent or emotionally intelligent, and being in tune with our bodies,
Mm-hmm.
And we're more open, I believe, to trying new stuff.
Different things. I'm gonna be honest with
Sometimes,
you. Go ahead.
yeah, sometimes we get stuck in traditional ways.
Mm-hmm.
And now that's
I was
not to
just saying,
say that traditions are not a good thing. Some traditions are a great thing, and we need to keep some of those things up. And then you have some of them that they just need a little tweaking,
yeah.
just a
I'm gonna be
little,
honest with
you
you.
know.
I feel with our generation, have you noticed more of us are growing our own gardens? Because we remember Big Mama used to have a garden in the backyard.
I'm there. I'm
I don't
there.
know if you remember those days.
I do.
No.
I remember my grandmother, we would be in the fields, me and my cousin. Now I complained because I was a city girl and my grandparents was in the country. I
Hmm.
complained, but at the end of the day, when I saw what my grandmother was doing with the things that we picked out of the field, I was elated to be in the fields with her. When she was
Fresh
teaching me all of
cucumbers,
those things, the
fresh
corn and
tomatoes.
shucking the corn, French
Yeah,
okra. I remember those things. I remember being outside with my grandmother, and she had this big old steel tub over an open fire, honey, where she was cooking our soups and jarring them. And I'm like, girl, and now in these days and times where you can't, there's a recall on everything,
a recall.
food prices are about to skyrocket.
I'm
I
gonna
am
tell
like,
you.
I am here. I am back to
Let me tell
gardening. I don't even
you.
like playing in the dirt, but I'm going to learn it.
Let me tell you. I can remember when my son was younger. My son never did and still does not like canned vegetables.
Oh,
I can remember, yeah, never did. My grandmother, he spent a lot before my mama's mom passed. He would spend a
mm-hmm,
lot of time at her house because I had
mm-hmm,
my children when I was young,
right.
and so my grandmama, what's that? The snap peas.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
He would help
mm-hmm,
my grandmama, and I want to say he might have been about one or two. He was young, and he would help her snap the peas.
mm-hmm. I
And
remember that too.
so he learned that he loved fresh fruits, I mean, fresh vegetables. And so we would have to do the snap peas,
Mm-hmm,
use the fresh potatoes
mm-hmm,
and the fresh carrots sometimes
mm-hmm,
to cook the snap peas for him.
mm-hmm.
And I remember telling my son, I said, Lord, I sure hope you get you a old country gal. Oh, I sure hope you marry you a old country gal. Because
She could be city too and got a little country in her.
and
But I understand, but yeah, we some of those things we have to go back to, you know.
mhm,
Um, it also talks about, challenges they face with the caregivers in reference to financial strains
mhm.
because caregivers are not cheap and you
Well,
you do pay for what you get.
yeah. Well, let me tell you something. You also have to remember, I feel, that because our grandparents and parents
Hmm.
are living longer, you know, and and let me and I don't even want to say it like this, but because our generation, and let me only speak for me,
Hmm.
because I was not business or money savvy back in the day, I was living life like a hustler. That money went through my hands extremely
Hmm.
hard, fast.
Hmm.
So therefore,
Hmm.
now I am working and
Hmm.
having to work. But I
Hmm.
also know, hypothetically, my daddy may need, and with the state of the government right now, my daddy may need his high blood pressure medicine.
Right.
And what used to be, hypothetically, because I really don't know, what used to be maybe $45, $50, it may now be $300, hypothetically.
Right. Right.
So
Correct.
now that means we as siblings now have to kick in. But so when we're
Right.
kicking in, it takes away from what we have.
Correct.
So now we have to now make an adjustment. And like I said, I
Right.
have kids and grandkids. And I'm
Yes.
the only one with grandkids. And my grandkids are very young, you
Yes.
know. So helping my parents and then having to help my kids with their kids, it does put
Mm-hmm.
a financial burden on
Mm-hmm.
me because I can only speak
Mm-hmm.
for me. You know,
Mm-hmm.
now
Mm-hmm.
for as my dad and his siblings and my grandmother, of course, that's something that they definitely must have had that talk a
Mm-hmm.
long time ago
Mm-hmm.
because I have never heard anyone complain.
Right.
Um, I've never heard anyone complain.
I
I
got
do
you.
know that I do have two aunts that live out of town and they
Mm-hmm.
rotate with my aunt that's actually in the house. And then
Mm-hmm.
like my dad comes down every day. He goes down every day to check on
Mm-hmm.
my grandmama, even though she has a caregiver. He
Mm-hmm.
goes down and he checks on her every day. And so they do like a rotation with
Mm-hmm.
everybody, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So and that's the one thing that we have to get into a groove with
Right.
as our generation. I'm gonna call us the Pepsi generation
I'm here
because
for it.
because when you have siblings and you have siblings that live off, how often are
Mm-hmm.
you willing to come and help me, relieve me?
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
had a friend, her mom lived with her until she passed, and you would have
Mm-hmm.
never known she had seven other siblings,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
So those are the things that you have to have that conversation
Right.
about.
Right.
Especially while your parents are still healthy. Because see, when
Right.
if something should happen, now you're calling this sister from here, this sister from here, this brother from here. And I'm gonna be very honest with you because it happens. I live a
Mm-hmm.
full life here in Florida. I
Mm-hmm.
can come maybe once a year. Once a year. Okay, so what part of the year can you come and how long can you stay? I can come for the weekend because it happens.
It does happen.
It
And I
happens.
work in the private sector of caregiving. It does happen. I've had clients who don't see their children at all.
I work in
Um,
long-term care, so I know.
I and I'm like, what?
Hmm.
What are you saying to me? I'm not understanding.
You're
I
right.
guess
I can't gather it.
because I assume, once again, it is my assumption that, and it's not to say that, me and my parents are all intertwined and all up in each other's
Hmm.
business and this,
Hmm.
that, and the other. And it's not that, but in my head, like I at least talk to my mama at least once or twice a week, and I know that's not a lot. I need to increase that as well. However, life is lifing.
I'm
I
guilty.
talk to my sister every day, and if there is something going on, rest assured, my sister is on the phone with me. I am getting a text, I'm getting a phone call. There is something. She is going to talk to me. So I am never out of the loop. So in my
Hmm.
head, I'm like, it doesn't register well with me
Hmm.
when I don't see or hear my client's family checking in on them.
Right. And,
Like
and
it
that's
it
fact.
it doesn't sit well with me. And then in those moments, I'm overdoing it with my parents because they're not getting that love that they need. So now I'm over processing and I'm
Hmm.
overdoing it. And I guess and my mom could possibly in her head be like, "Girl, I just talked to you 10 minutes ago. What happened?" And like I feel like I could be working on her nerves because I'm
Right.
trying to
Overcompensate.
overcompensate for my clients not getting what they need,
Hmm.
out of their extended family members. And I'm just like, like this is bothersome to me. And then it makes me also want to work on me being a better daughter, a better
Mhm,
friend, a better CMA, just
mhm,
a better being for God all in itself. Like I
mhm.
overcompensate for that. Um, and I'm just like, ugh, like it don't sit natural
Right.
with me. And I get it. I get it. Everybody, we are in my the one of the things that I've always said to myself as I was learning, going through school as a medical assistant, is God made us all the same yet different.
Mhm,
We have similarities. However, we are different as well.
mhm.
Um, and we have more similarities that hold and bind us together than we have differences that pushes us apart.
True.
Um, but it's something for me. I'm like, oh, okay, well, whatever. But like we were talking about the financial strengths of it, and you're right, at some point in time there with this new administration, we don't know what's going on. Anything could be cut out. Um, we have to figure out how to step in and balance for ourselves,
Mhm,
keep them accustomed to the lifestyle
mhm.
that
Keep
they've
yourself
become
accustomed.
accustomed to, keep ourselves accustomed. I have these other little tentacles that come off of me called children and grandchildren, and they have developed a lifestyle. And you're trying to make sure that not only are you sane, but you're trying to keep them sane because they're newer parents and they need to enjoy being a parent to the little
Mhm,
people because I have five grandsons, no
mm.
granddaughters, five grandsons, three of whom are 3 years old. So I've been from MUSC, MUSC to Roper. Every 3 months, a baby was being born. You know what I'm saying? So I get it. And I
Wow.
want them to be able to thrive and be the best parents that they can to them. I want to be able to enjoy my children being young adults
Mhm,
and enjoy my grandchildren. And my
mhm.
mother and my father, they enjoy because they,
Right.
they were there when my children were born and growing up. So they got to enjoy watching them
Mhm.
grow into their adulthood. And I want them to be able to just enjoy watching their great grandchildren because that's a blessing all in itself,
Yes.
you know. So I want them to be able to enjoy it as well. And we haven't really had the financial restraints.
Mhm,
Thank God for that. And if things should change, we are gonna press on and do what we need to do. And that's one of the conversations that at some point in time this year, it is my goal. I don't
mhm.
know what this is. I was complaining at first, that Easter was late this year because it's the fourth
Okay.
Sunday in next month.
Okay.
At first I was complaining about that, but then I think about it and I'm like, God is trying to tell us something. So with you trying to tell me something, I'm going to take advantage of all the opportunities. So when you come and you are resurrected again on Easter morning, I too
Mhm,
will resurrect myself as being a better being in
mhm,
you. I have goals set. We will have our two planners be
mhm,
released on Easter morning. One of them is our five wishes. The other one is our end of life planner.
mhm.
And, we're going to, those are my goals for Easter morning. We're going to be resurrected right along with God because He said so.
Yes, he said so.
Um, you know, I just want to try to do my best and live the best that I can to be able to take care of my parents, make sure they have what they need, what they
Mhm.
want, what they desire.
Yeah.
Be able to take care of my children, whatever they need, want, and desire. And of course, my little prince, they can
Right.
have whatever they
Right.
want. They can have
Right.
whatever they want. The
That's
world
that's
is
how
your
I
oyster,
am. Yeah.
baby. You could have whatever it is that you want. I know when it comes to the emotional part of it and the physical stress, it could be very demanding.
Mm-hmm.
because there's a difference. There's a difference in being a caregiver for somebody else that you don't know and being a caregiver to your mama. There's a difference.
There's a
And
difference.
in your head, nobody can take care of my mama like I take care of my mama.
Mm-hmm.
And that may be
And don't
true.
try to outshine me doing it either.
And don't come in here trying to outshine me. That may be true. However, just because you can do it does not mean that somebody else can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
There may be times as personal caregivers to our parents, we may sometimes need to take a step back
Mm-hmm.
and be open to allowing someone else to
Someone
come
else.
in to help and
Yeah.
assist you. Because sometimes we
Yep.
get too close to the situation,
Yep.
you know, and then we become perfectionists to a degree we don't need to become.
Yeah.
You know, what you think about the emotional and the physical stress about it?
Well, you know, definitely. So for me, I can see it both ways, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Caregiving and as a caregiver.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's just I really don't know because I do know that if the time should come, and I'm not wishing upon on my parents,
Yeah.
uh, how quickly can we get to them? That's number one, because all of
Mm-hmm.
us live in different states. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
all of us,
Mm-hmm.
all of us, even down to the grandchildren.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody lives somewhere. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so then that's already number one, an emotional toll. If something should happen right now, how quickly can I get to Charleston? And I
Mm-hmm.
am going to tell you right now that it's not going to be an easy task for me.
Mm-hmm.
One, by car, it is 18, almost 19 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Now by flight, yeah, it's maybe 4 hours, give or take.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I have to get to the bus station, which is an hour away.
Mm.
That's just the bus station. And depending on where I take my flight out at, that's still another hour.
Right.
Now, if I choose to go to Boston, that's 3 hours.
Oh.
Now I got to get, now once I leave Boston, now I got to get my flight out. And I'm just saying that in retro, and I'm just saying that to say this. For those of us that live off and and we know we have elderly parents, and we know that there is not another sibling there, or a grandchild, or a niece, or a nephew. You know, those are the things that we have to take in consideration. My
Yeah.
parents are in, and not my parents, I'm just saying, but my parents are in their 80s,
Mm-hmm.
and I need to get home in case something happens to
Mm-hmm.
daddy. Because the
Mm-hmm.
one thing that we have to also understand, we may have healthy lives at whatever state that we are in. But I already know, just like your parents, my parents
Mm-hmm.
ain't leaving their house.
No,
My mom and daddy, they
they're
ain't
not.
leaving their house. They ain't leaving.
No, they ain't going. No.
My
And I
parents
don't
rolled out
expect them
hurricanes in
to.
that house. Huh?
Yep.
My parents rolled out hurricanes in the house, wasn't leaving. Mama, y'all coming to Charlotte. Mm-mm, we fine. Your
Crack
grandmama
this
coming
windows,
down here. Yeah.
crack this window so the air can go through the house and
Yeah,
back
we
on
fine.
out.
Yeah, your grandmama coming down here. We gonna get her down here with us. What? Y'all
Mm-hmm.
lasted 5 minutes apart. We fine. We fine.
Okay.
I
We
ain't leaving my
fine.
house. Yeah, we fine. So, so that's something you have to take. That's an emotional thing. Like, is my mama going to come, or my parents going to come to Charlotte? Or my brother lives in Florida. Are they going to go down to Florida? You know,
Mm-hmm.
what collectively, as we as siblings, how much, unfortunately, how much of our lives are we willing to disrupt to be in
Right.
Charleston for our parents? Because
Right.
because it is a disruption in your life.
It is. It is. It is. It is.
So,
I
you know, so those are the things that those are definitely the conversations that my siblings and I have never had.
I got you.
Because so and because we've never had them, because we know our
Hmm.
parents are healthy, we know my daddy will hop in his truck and he driving down to Florida with no problem. He driving to Charlotte with no problem. We've never had that discussion of what if.
I got you. Me and my siblings has never had that discussion either. However, as I get older by the minute, and I
Oh,
believe as I get older by the minute, and because of the type of work that I do, it
hmm
is now pushing me in that direction. When they tell you to get your house in order,
get your house in order.
those are the things that are being, that's what they're talking about.
Hmm
You got to have open discussion. And there's going to be a lot of times you don't like what people say. You don't
Well,
have
I
to
had
like
told
it.
my kids, look, if there comes a point in time in my life and in my health that is unmanageable, put me in a nursing home.
I got you.
Mama, we'll never put you in a you will probably put me in there quicker than the doctor can say she is released.
You not calling on the phone. Y'all got a bed because she could be
Yeah,
releasing at 12 o'clock. I need her
yeah,
picked
yeah,
up at 12:05.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh-huh, uh-huh. Yeah. I'm just saying, you know, because I know working in long-term care, and I've been to a lot of different facilities as a traveling CNA. I know how some family members are about their loved one.
Hmm.
And especially for those that have taken care of their loved one at home, but it is now to a point where it's unbearable for them. Because the one thing we also have to take into consideration for the older generation that are still thriving, or
Hmm.
however you want to call it, if you're married, what kind of strain does that put on your marriage? Especially if Big Mama in the house
Yeah.
and your husband and Big Mama don't like your husband or your wife. What kind of strain does that put on your marriage? See,
Yeah.
those are the things that we don't even think about.
Yeah. 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 And that's true because I remember I am not married, nor do I have a ring.
For me
However,
either.
I've I've been dating the same gentleman off and on. It'll be 6 years this year.
Hmm
But there was a time that my grandmother was still here on earth and she had dementia.
hmm
And my daughter and son-in-law came and picked me up from work one day. And I was like, if y'all picking me up from work, who's home with grandmother? Now, one of them could have come and picked me up and I would have been like, oh, okay,
Okay.
I'm okay. But if both of y'all picking me up, who's home with her? Well, unbeknownst to me, he he was at the house. As we're walking towards the house, I could see the light on in the house and I could see the front door open. And I'm like raising hell.
hmm
Okay, pure decent. My daughter and son-in-law paying me no attention, just a giggling under their breath, not paying me any attention. My hair is standing up on top of my head. I so mad. Okay. I get in the house, Tasha, and my grandmother had unhad her a bath. She had unhad evening meds, and he had cooked us dinner.
Mm.
And I was like, you didn't have to do that. He said, I know. He said, but I wanted to. You take care of her. I want to do something nice for you.
Wow.
Now, also, unbeknownst to me, because she was eating, he had already had her set up and she was eating
hmm
her dinner in her chair, and
hmm
she just giggling at the TV and everything. Meanwhile, my hair still on the top of my head. So, because I could see her first as I entered the house, and he's sitting
Right.
behind the door in this chair. He said, there's plenty times that you are at work and your grandmother has left out of the house and she's walking down the street. He said, I've come here on plenty occasions and I've just sat and parked in my car and just watch her. He said, just to make sure that she doesn't hurt herself,
Mm-hmm.
make sure no one harms her. And I'm like, you don't have to do that. And he said, no, I don't have to do that. He said, but I do it.
Mm-hmm.
He said, I love you. I love her.
Right.
You take care of her. It's my job to help you take care of you so that you can continue to take care of her.
Wow.
And I was like, oh my goodness. Like you don't have to do that. But he did. And thank God he did. Because there were plenty of times she was leaving out of the house, but I'm at work and I had
Right.
to work, you know, and it wasn't her norm because she was a school crossing guard. So in her head, she's supposed to be leaving out the
At the
house.
house.
Yeah, in her head, that's her normal thing. She should be leaving out of the house. But no, baby. No, no, no. But still, and I said that to say this, like, you're right. Sometimes you don't know how those interactions could be harmful or helpful in your own
Mm-hmm.
personal relationships.
Right.
Um, in that moment, I learned from him how caring he can truly be.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, she's your grandmother. She's my grandmother,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And I appreciate him for that. And I think those are one of the things that bind us because I see how much he loves his mom.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see why he helped me took care of my grandmother. And he took care of her in a way that he was able to do so,
Mm-hmm.
which was if all I do is sit in my truck and watch her walk down the street and make sure she comes back to the house in a timely manner. He said
Mm-hmm.
she has walked around the entire block and he just followed her from a distance on foot
Mm-hmm.
too, just to see where she was going.
Right.
I'm like, you did. He's like, I know I don't have to, but I do have to. I can't be with you
And
and not be
so,
responsible for her too.
and
You
you know
know?
that makes a difference too, especially
Yeah.
with your mental psyche.
It,
Because all jokes aside, the children that came from us and the children that came from them, they would have attacked her.
mhm.
They have no manners. We can call a cat and a dog a dog. So to
Yeah, they got no
be,
manners.
they got no manners. They don't even respect Big Mama no more. So hey, I'm just saying. So therefore, to be with someone or have someone around you that does that speaks volumes.
Mhm.
It speaks volumes.
It does. That's one of the reasons I think that's one of the reasons. No, I don't think I know. That's one of the reasons that keeps me with him
Mm-hmm.
because he thought enough about me
Mm-hmm.
to want to help me take care of her in
Mm-hmm.
that particular moment or in those instances. I
Right.
appreciate, and I know, for us in this career of being caregivers, it's a balancing act. We have to
Yeah.
balance work, we're balancing our caregiving responsibilities, and and it can affect your career progression and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes your job stability. If
Yeah.
we take it on mentally and emotionally, we
Mm-hmm.
we can be truly impacted by it, but
Yeah.
I tell God, thank you for every experience that I have, good,
Amen.
bad, and or indifferent.
Indifferent.
I am appreciative of it all because they all teach me lessons. You
Mm-hmm.
know, whatever the little bits and pieces that apply to me is the pieces that I take and hold on to. The rest, okay, this doesn't apply to me. We're gonna sit this in this box
Yeah.
over here until it does, and this can go in the trash. I don't need you at all. Like,
Just like
so
reading the
I
Bible.
it,
Not every
it's a
part of the Bible
balancing act.
belongs to you.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. A couple of tips that I have, for us, for the prospective caregivers, for the sandwich generation. Um, One of my tips is if you don't know your parents' health,
Mm-hmm.
learn it.
Learn it. Learn it.
Educate yourself, on any of their health conditions. Ask questions, right, wrong, or indifferent.
Let me
Ask questions.
let me stop you right there. So when I do get home, the first thing I do is I truly, truly, truly check my parents' refrigerator. I
Hmm.
check for I check the refrigerator because I want to know what type of juice they're drinking,
Hmm.
why they drinking it, why is that here, why is that here. I
Hmm.
check their cabinets for the same reason. Because if
Hmm.
you notice now they're they're still making, pray to God, things that are low in sodium, no
Hmm.
salt added, so I need
Hmm.
to so even without me asking, I know my parents don't use salt anymore.
Hmm.
They don't use
Hmm.
salt anymore. They'll My mom has maybe one or two things of sodas in the refrigerator.
Hmm.
The caffeine. They're slowing down. And like my mama's definitely, she's an avid coffee drinker. I noticed that she's starting to drink more decaf,
Gotcha.
nothing caffeinated.
Gotcha.
So if you don't ask because you
That's
act like
right.
you don't want to know, those are the routines that you look at.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
bacon, low sodium. Anything that's low sodium, that means your family, your parent, grandparent, or whomever,
Hmm.
they're suffering or have had an issue with their high blood pressure.
Hmm.
So they're
Hmm.
trying to regulate their high blood pressure.
Hmm.
And Lord
Hmm.
forbid, and I mean, which we should do anyway, when you start seeing cases and cases of water, they definitely trying to regulate their blood pressure. Because
They're
my mom
trying
said, well,
to
I just need to, yeah,
keep those kidney functions up.
yeah. Look, my mama said, well, I just buy the sodas just for y'all for whenever y'all decide to come. Like my parents no longer eat ham, the pork in the summer.
Gotcha. Hmm.
So you see more turkey in the house, more
Hmm.
ground turkey, you know.
Hmm.
So if you don't want to ask the questions, that's definitely something for you to even notice.
Yeah, pay attention to your surroundings. Notice the changes that you see going on in the home,
Yeah.
because sometimes those changes you see can help you lead into a conversation.
Like
Like,
my dad loves gardening now. So what I learned with him
hmm,
gardening and his plants, that is his meditation.
there you go. Yep,
So when you
there you
start
go.
seeing habits, and look, we're always not supposed to be dropping like it's hot anyway as we get older. Them Luke knees, those Megan the Stallion knees should be going anyway. So that's how my dad
Come on.
meditates.
Gotcha.
He is outside and he is gardening.
One with God in the earth, honey. Yeah. I remember my great grandfather used to be in the backyard. This time of year right here today, if he was still here as bright and sunny as this sky is, he'd be out there with that tiller just going in the backyard,
Mhm.
getting ready to plant. And I would be in my little sandbox looking at him because I'm not going out there to play in nobody dirt, but I'm in the sandbox, and that's all I had to give. But yeah, those are you do. We have to educate ourselves, and
Mhm.
if you need help sometimes with those conversations because it's not an easy conversation to have. It's not. My baby boy does not like talking about death. He
But
does not.
neither is my son.
He wants no part of that conversation. And I have to remind him, sir,
I'm not gonna always be here.
exactly. In case
You
you
need
have
to know that.
forgotten,
Yeah. Just in
not
case,
only, just in case, not only are you my son, but you're also somebody's husband and you're somebody's father.
Hmm.
As a man,
Yeah.
welcome to your manlyhood.
Hey.
This is it. This is real life. Welcome to it. You don't have to like it. We just got to go with it.
Hmm.
Don't fight it. go with it.
Go with it.
We're gonna be just fine. I'm gonna do my part to make sure that I have my house in order and you
Hmm.
do your part, and we just gonna sail on through, you know? That's all. Now, I do question my parents about their medications.
Um,
My dad fusses. I I asked them, when's the last time you've been to the doctor? What are they talking about? What's going on? Once again, everybody, I guess because I'm nosy.
yeah. Yeah, well, you know what?
I'm
But
no
here's no, 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 no. You're not nosy. You're inquisitive. Because you know what? My dad
that.
had a procedure done,
Mm-hmm.
and none of us knew anything about it. My mama literally sent a group chat to let us know that he was fine through the procedure. And I said, fine, what procedure? So, now I'm calling my sister. Did you know about this and didn't tell me? No. Now we want to through with my brother. And now he mad with us because he thinking we knew
And didn't tell him.
and
When
didn't
all
tell
in
him.
fact nobody.
Mama, what procedure did daddy have?
Mm-hmm.
Where was this done at? How long did it
Mm-hmm.
take? How long did y'all know?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, your daddy
Mm-hmm.
rested now. What?
Like he just had a normal headache and just took ibuprofen. So, okay. Okay. I get it. Tasha, I listen. Listen, my mama, I have, I fussed one day because they went out of town and she did not tell me that they were going out of town until they got to where they were going. I said, you don't never leave here without telling me y'all going somewhere. Anything can happen to y'all on that road.
Oh,
They
you know
do.
what I get?
She don't do that no more.
You know what I get? Let me give you the circle of life. Okay, thank you. Like I didn't know who begat who, but it would be nice because I'm like you. My parents like going to Savannah. Oh, y'all love going down 17. Okay, then. Okay. It'll be nice to know once in a while.
Mm-mm.
Once
Girl,
in a
that one
while.
time, I think
My
that one
mom had
time I read so much saying my mama was like, listen, it ain't even worth listening to her fuss so much. Anytime they leave and I get a text, we are headed to.
hmm Well, my mom had a cousin that passed away, and they were going to the funeral was in Savannah, and they were going to get up early that morning, and they were going to go to Savannah and then go to the funeral and come back. Me and my sister saved them some money so they can get a hotel the night before and travel back the day after.
Mm-hmm.
Ma'am, because the funeral was around about Christmas. Yeah, it was definitely around about Christmas. I said no, because as soon as my mama told me that, I said no, that's not happening. That's not happening.
Mm-hmm. Mm-mm.
Huh? Huh? What? That's not happening. Yeah, it was Christmas. I said because this is the last weekend, the last shopping weekend before Christmas. You don't know how many people are gonna be on the road. You don't know how many people are not paying attention. Y'all will get to Savannah the night before. We're paying for your hotel.
Mm-hmm.
You will stay in Savannah that night, the night of the funeral, and y'all will leave out in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
No, no, we're not even playing those type of games.
Mm-mm.
No, we ain't playing them type of games.
I don't play with them. When they went out of town to somewhere, but my sister was with them, and she was
Mm-hmm.
like, "Girl, we on this road." I said, "Hey, fill in this life 360 just so I could see where y'all at in case something happens. You break
Mm-hmm.
down, whatever have you. I
Mm-hmm.
need to get you something somebody knows and can pinpoint exactly where y'all are."
Mm-hmm.
So
Honey,
my
raising our
sister,
parents ain't easy.
yeah,
Raising our
raising
parents
our
ain't easy.
parents,
Ain't
girl, and I
easy.
raised my parents and my sister.
Raising our parents ain't easy.
It ain't. And my sister like to tell me, and I raising you. Yep. And my three kids and my five grandsons. Yes, you are. We're raising each other. That's what we're doing. That's
Hunty.
exactly what we're doing. you know.
Raising
But
my
we have to.
parents is not easy, but we have to do it.
That's
We
my
have to
son
do it.
he teases me all the time. He talks about, man, mama, I don't want to have to raise you. Well, you are.
You are. You
You
are.
are. Sorry. You know.
Your mama
But
is
you know, it
single.
does.
Your mama is single. You only got no choice but to raise me.
And I out here like a little teenager too. He's like,
Hmm.
no, no, ma, you're going backwards. Sorry.
Sorry.
It's your turn now.
Hmm.
What we do, we have to
Yeah.
have some open communication, y'all. Have some open
Mhm.
communication. And it's hard, discussing about caregivers and if you need it and when you need it
Mhm.
and your
How long you
preferences
think
when
you're
it
gonna need
comes,
it? Mhm.
how long and who you want to be a caregiver. It is. It can be a daunting
A
task,
daunting task
but it has to be done. And not only that, make sure that you have a support system.
system. Yeah.
You got to have a support system, maybe join a caregiving group. Hey,
Mhm.
you could drop down in our comments and talk to us. We're
Yeah.
here.
I
We are
mean, not
here.
every
Any
answer gonna get a serious
tips?
response.
We,
Not every answer gonna get a
we
serious response, especially not by me. Depending on what the question is.
depending on what the question is.
Because I'm gonna
We
tell you
got a
what
little
happened to me.
seriousness. And also, we could be straight up now. So
Yeah, yeah.
sometimes the answer may not be what you desire to have because sometimes that ain't the right thing. Like to be sugarcoating stuff is not always the best thing. Sometimes you just,
Mhm.
as my great grandmother would say, just give you the jug by the handle. Just
Yep.
tell you the truth right off the top and let you process the truth as opposed to processing untruths.
Mhm.
But I would say, try to get you in with a good old support system,
Yeah.
support groups, utilize your community resources,
You utilize your
so that you could,
church.
it- yeah, and that's a resource.
That's
Tell
a
the people
resource.
in your church, because you never know, the people in your church probably need a caregiver too. They need somebody to talk to. Y'all
Mhm.
think, I think what happens is we think that we go to church and that the pastor and the people in the church ain't got no problems and that they know everything that's going on in the world.
Mhm.
Keep in mind, a lot of people who in church are gray haired. This is weave, don't get it twisted. But they are a gray haired community and they could be stuck
Yep.
in their thought processes, number one. And number two, a lot of the people in the church are of the world and not in
In
the
the
world.
world.
There's a difference. You have to think of the world. They live off of a pension or social security. They have a fixed income, so to
Mhm.
speak. The
Mhm.
parts of the news that pertain to them are the parts that they watch and they take in.
Mhm.
If they don't know anything about social media, they don't care to know. They don't want to know, you
Mhm.
know? And that's just that. But we have to be in this world as well.
Yeah.
In the world. We also have to self prioritize as caregivers. You have to take care of yourself.
Mhm.
You know, I know for
Yeah.
me, that is, I had to set boundaries because being in
I
this
do not
private world,
disturb. I do
yeah,
not disturb.
yeah, I'm getting me
No,
one of those.
no, really,
Yeah,
on my
on your phone.
phone,
Yeah.
I do a do not disturb.
Hmm.
My phone falls asleep at a certain time.
Hmm.
And what I had to learn also, um, it's okay to say no.
That was a boundary for me. I had to learn how to say no.
I had to
I
learn to
had
say
to learn.
no. hmm
Yeah.
It's hard,
Yeah. It
especially when you're
is.
used to saying yes, and especially when you're used to giving. I had to learn to say no.
Hmm. Hmm. That was new for me, and that was one of the boundaries I had to set too, especially for me being in the private sector. Um,
hmm
I had to learn how to say no to a lot of things.
Mhm.
Because being in the private sector, you're in these people's homes, you're in their private
Mhm.
spaces. You can
Mhm.
become very comfortable and relax.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, to the point that you become part of the family, even when you don't want to be. I had to learn
Mhm.
how to turn on a deaf ear to a lot of things and a blind eye
Mhm.
because a lot of times you don't want all that stuff in your energy, in your aura.
So let me ask you this, and I don't know if this has ever been a question that I asked or it's already been asked before. So with you being in the private sector and you're in their homes, like is there like an agreement within the contract that says like I get this time, this day here off, so many days off, or this is my day off, or how does that work? Because if you're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, what is considered your off day for Tashi to recharge?
It is. So I do. I have a contract and we state the hours,
Mm-hmm.
the amount of so like now I'm doing a nannying position. So yes, I do. I have a contract that states my day on, my day off, my times in and time out. So like Sundays, I don't work, period. I don't care. I don't
Mm-hmm.
care. And that is not up for debate. It clearly states that on my contract. Sunday is a day for the Lord.
Just like Chick-fil-A.
I'm just not as
Okay.
expensive as Chick-fil-A, but how's it ever? Um, and then again, I am. Um, but yeah, I there's a contract and a service agreement that I
Okay.
have, and it does say my days on and off in specific times. Um, one of the days that's never in question is Sunday.
Okay.
I'm in church. Tuesday evenings is another day that's never in question. I'm in church. I,
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. I those are the
And
two
we love
days
our
that I
Lord.
I have
Yeah.
I am tunnel vision
Mm-hmm.
and a deaf ear.
Okay.
But yeah, there is. I have a service agreement in
Okay.
reference to
Just
that.
wonderful. Okay.
Yeah.
What's your
Clear
next nugget? Oh.
that's one of the things you have to have clear communications. And sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
communications can become misconstrued, but then
Mm-hmm.
things happen on a daily basis sometimes. But for the most part, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Okay.
And it also talks about, when we say prioritizing ourselves and setting boundaries, no became one of our boundaries. It
Mm-hmm.
also says we got to take some breaks.
And I love the
Therefore,
travel.
see, there you go. My breaks is Sunday where I rejuvenate, I reset.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Tuesday evenings when I'm in church for Bible study. That's another my taking a break for rejuvenation. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then it also says to engage in activities you enjoy. Traveling.
Hey. And I love being somewhere, traveling. I love being in the air. I don't
Okay.
care if they falling out the sky.
Uh, Wait a minute. Hold on, Tasha.
Listen,
'Cause
let me tell
I
you,
want to go to
let me tell you,
Belize for my birthday, and I'm afraid to get on a plane.
let me tell you
Okay.
something. I actually missed out on a trip to go to Bali. Um, Not prioritizing. So I missed out on going to Bali. But
Hmm.
it was like, I can't believe you get on the plane. I said, I can't believe you don't get in the car. I said, because anything can happen, no matter
Anything can
where
happen.
you are. When
Yeah.
you have,
Yeah.
we have
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
control over when God says, boop, today's your day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
since things have been happening more frequently under this administration, it is definitely a tad bit scary. But if you saw our last podcast, my life insurance is in order. My life insurance in order. So therefore, I cannot allow things to keep me gripped in fear.
Right. Right. Because the fear, to be in fear is not the spirit of the Lord. So that
Right.
is correct. We cannot
You
live
know?
in fear. And you spoke about your life insurance, so that comes under our financial planning. And my notes did say explore your financial options, such
Hmm.
as long-term care insurance or
Oh yeah.
potential tax benefits to alleviate economic pressures.
Hmm.
So you spoke about your life insurance, and on what today is Saturday, Thursday.
Hmm.
Um, Last week I called about getting life insurance in place for myself.
I got an agent for you. Well, if you've already placed it, that's fine. I understand.
No, but I would
But
need your agent too because I want another policy.
yeah. So, and I know that's a different topic for a different show, but
Mm-hmm.
I think she's wonderful. I
Mm-hmm.
think that once we get her on the show, she will educate us to a lot of different things that we
Mm-hmm.
women of color need to know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I was on TikTok early this morning, and this one guy came across, and he was like, if your grandmama, I think he said it either was your grandmama or your great grandmama, what somebody, if she could have worked 60 years ago, granddaddy wouldn't be here. She just wasn't employable. Granddaddy was. And that's
Mm-hmm.
so true
Mm-hmm.
because for so long, for so many years, Black women could not work.
That's right.
They were, I won't say they were forced, probably not, I don't know, into marriage at young ages.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why those marriages lasted for the day somebody died, because she couldn't work. She wasn't educated.
Mm-hmm.
And back then, times were harder.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, Granddaddy laid them hands. That's why
Mm-hmm.
Grandmama knew about the other woman on the other side of town and she had more kids and da 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 da. She said, but he said, but if she could have worked, Granddaddy wouldn't have been there. And that's true.
No,
So,
that
um,
is.
that's also true. So to bring that back into to the forefront, she taught me some things that I needed to know as a single woman of color. So we're going to get her on the show. Her name
Please do.
is Erica. Her name is Erica Alexander, and
Gotcha.
yeah, we're going to get her on the show. Yeah, so there are just some things that we as women need to know, and if we are part of
Yes.
the sandwich generation, we need to know how to effectively take care of our parents,
Mm-hmm.
maintain our lifestyle, and take care of our
Mm-hmm.
kids and our grandkids. So,
Mm-hmm. And set ourselves up for
yeah.
generational wealth.
But anywho, I digress as always. But yeah,
No, well that's good because I have one policy right now. The young lady came on
mhm,
Thursday and did
okay.
my physical. And because I have three children, I'm like, I'm gonna have three different policies.
Hmm.
One is for this one and one is for that one, and it's the
Hmm.
same amount on
Hmm.
each policy. And I don't want my children strapped with any
Hmm.
of my bills.
Hmm.
I don't want that for them. You know, what they
Right.
do with it after they put me in the ground is on
That's
them.
it.
But I have
But they
done
do, they
my
spread my
part.
ashes. That's on them. Yep.
That's on them. I have done my part. I have set y'all up to where you are not responsible for any of my financial doings.
Yep.
You know, now this lump sum of money you get, y'all make sure you do what you're supposed to do for me. And what you do with the rest of this, if you don't invest it, you don't spend it wisely, it's gone
It's
bye-bye.
on you.
It is on you. But I will do my part in getting my house in order. And that is another subject for another day, getting
Right.
your house in order. And we're going to talk about what it means to get your house in order. I want us to stop being ignorant
Yeah,
to
definitely.
information. Let's
Definitely.
stop doing that because there's too much in this world. There's too there's too many ways to do one thing nowadays. So
Let me tell you
let's
something.
stop being ignorant to education.
And I'm glad you said that because let me tell you something. And if you don't know the state of the world for the people of color, they are dismantling Department of Education. They are dismantling anything that has to do with your heritage, your lineage. And you need to educate yourself as much as possible before things are disappearing.
And when you don't know, that is a real
That's how to
place for
get
you to
over
say,
on you.
I don't know. Look it up. Ask
Hmm.
questions.
Before and I think what this administration has done, it
Hmm.
has definitely been an eye opener to the things that we have ignored. I cannot speak for nobody else. I can only speak for myself. But the administration has opened my eyes to the things that I ignored that was free.
Hmm. Hmm.
And
Hmm.
the younger generation who takes education and their freedom for granted, like a like an old thing of chewing gum on the concrete, y'all in the FAFO stage.
Hmm.
I digress.
That's all we got to say about that. You know. But this was a great talk. But however, in conclusion, you ladies, guys, girls, gents, mamas,
Mamas
daddies,
and papas.
grandpapas, mamas, babies, daddies, maybes.
Hmm, possibility.
We want to say
Too
that.
impossible.
I know that was a mouthful, but if you are embarking on the caregiving journey, that requires preparation, empathy, and resilience, by
Mm-hmm.
understanding the landscape through statistics, because there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people who are in the sandwich generation. I read about a young lady on the Wall Street Journal. She's 34. She has two children, both under two,
Mm.
two and younger. Um, and both of her parents are in their early 60s. And Tasha, they both have dementia.
Ah,
She's newly married to her kid's dad. And I say newly
brain.
married under 5 years. I think they've been married.
Okay.
It's not even 5 years yet. Um, and they have two little bambinas, and then we've got the grown bambinas. Because both of her parents are in their early to mid 60s, and they both have dementia. And she's an only child.
Well, we're gonna keep her lifted in prayer.
We have to. And
We're gonna
no,
keep her
she's
lifted
not
in prayer.
us. She's us. But and my heart just goes out to her.
Cause that's a lot.
And
That's a
she's like,
mouthful.
it is. She's like, I am exhausted. And looking at her, and you look at her picture, you can look at her face and tell she's exhausted.
So just imagine you are raising two small children, your career, your husband, and your parents. How long do you think her marriage is going to last?
Ah, it's a time in
These
the
are the
port
questions.
city.
Those are the questions that we don't ask. But I also want to say this before we close. Working
Hmm.
in healthcare and you're taking care of your parents and your children, your grandchildren, and you trying to maintain you, please always know take a mental break. Because when you are now you are singular, you're in the home. But for someone like me, in a facility, and I have worked, the smallest facility I've ever worked in is 30 beds. The
Mhm.
largest facility I've ever worked in was 385 beds.
Mhm.
So, with that being said, you have intertwined with so many spirits, so many people, and you need to learn how to keep your mind sane. Because even though we
Mhm.
get on here and sometimes, we may or may not digress on the subject, being in healthcare, it is never easy. Because depending on your age, and I'm 52, just like you, Tashi,
Mhm.
it wears on you mentally. So if
Mhm.
you have to go to work and you're already dealing with combative residents, residents that have Alzheimer's and dementia,
Mhm.
now and look, that may only be one person. Just imagine now you got to go to the next person, to the
Mhm.
next person, to the next person. So technically, you have dealt with 15 people and it's only been
Mhm.
four people.
Mhm.
Then you've done that on an 8 hour shift, 7.5 hours. Now you have to go home and, hey, you may have to cook dinner. You may have to clean. You may have to go run the soccer practice, cheerleader practice. Now we got to go check on mama and daddy.
Mhm.
Now you also got to have time for your husband, boyfriend, significant other.
Mhm.
And 10 o'clock is your time to go to sleep. And now you got to go do this all over again.
Mhm.
Always know that health care, we don't even, and I tell everybody this, I do not recommend health care for everybody because health care is just not for everyone. It is no longer where you get to wear your cute little, your little white scrubs and your little nursing hat and all the other things. Healthcare is not for everyone. There are going to be some days where you are short staffed. There are days when you don't picked up and it's still a short staff for second shift. And little Johnny teacher calling you while you at work. Healthcare, please be mindful that at any moment, at any time of the day, go outside and take a deep breath
Mhm.
because elderly abuse is real. So before you get into healthcare and you are having a bad day, bad days, don't put your hand on somebody's mouth. I'm just telling you an FYI. And now you have to go home and deal with your own parents if they don't live at home with you and deal with your children
Mhm.
at the same time. I just feel like, sometimes we do get overwhelmed. We do
We do.
overbog
We
ourselves,
do.
you know, and let's not forget, if you especially trying to have a social life, you know, you want to hang out with your friends. If you're single, get to have your cue time for your husband. There's just so many things that we involve ourselves in that we have mentally worn ourselves out. And I don't want
Yeah.
anybody to feel like, oh, they're burnt out because you can easily get burnt out. And let me
Yeah.
just say this, even though I am where I am and I work the way that I work, let's not forget, I still do worry about my parents in Charleston, South
Mhm.
Carolina,
Mhm.
and my grandmother, and,
Mhm.
and, and my children that are in Charlotte, and my grandchildren that are in Charlotte. Let's not,
Mhm.
because I always tell everybody that also, oh, I'm going to get into traveling. Honey, traveling ain't for everybody.
Mhm.
Because I am working with girls right now who have left their small children home to be in the care of somebody else. Like, how do you
Mhm.
do that? Your child, I'm just
Mhm.
hypothetically saying, your child's 7. How do you do that? You left the newborn home to come travel?
Mhm.
Traveling is not
That
for
is.
everybody. Healthcare is not for everyone.
Mhm.
And let me tell you something. We are the hardest people to treat because we already know everything. A doctor know everything, so he's not going to go be seeing nurses, PAs. We are the hardest
We,
people to treat.
right. Self-diagnoses in a hot second.
We gonna get on. Look, we on Wikipedia, we on Google, and we gonna tell
WebMD.
them that. Look, and they all am wrong. So please always note, being in this generation and you work in healthcare, and and I'm gonna be honest with you, now is the time where we start developing health problems.
Yes.
Your
Yeah.
varicose veins, you got your
Sometimes our
swollen
blood
ankle,
pressure. That's right. Our
and
blood
also let's
pressure out
also
of
know,
whack.
and
That's
let's
right.
also know when you work in long-term care or even in a hospital setting, you ain't using the bathroom always. So you either got a kidney infection, UTI, or bladder infection. You're not eating. You are liable. Let me tell you something. If you sit down and enjoy your 30-minute lunch, God bless you.
Yes.
God
And if
bless
you
you.
have a healthy lunch at that to enjoy, because most of the time it's whatever you can put your hand on if you didn't prepare yourself the night before or the day before.
That you could put in your pocket.
Right.
Because I have been known to put a Snicker bar in one pocket and the Skittles in the other pocket, and I am walking down the hallway. This is my breakfast. I'm finished.
And
And
we know that
because
that's not healthy.
and because I work 12, my shifts are mandatory 12 hours.
Hmm.
So I have to be to work at 5:45 a.m. to 6:15 p.m.
Hmm.
So if I wake up on time at 4:30, I need to pray to God that I can really get out the bed to do it.
Hmm.
Okay?
Hmm.
No breakfast, because for me, I can't eat at 5 o'clock in the morning.
I got you.
So that's why I started doing the protein shakes.
Hmm.
But let's just say this. By the time breakfast for my residents come at 7:30, my stomach is growling. Now
Now
I
it's time to eat.
have now I have to grab that Snicker bar. Lunch starts at 10:30. So now I'm eating lunch, my breakfast at 10:30, which might be a piece of toast and my Biscoff peanut butter. Now that's from 10:30 to 11. After 11, it's time for my residents to eat. After they eat,
Hmm.
it's time to do rounds. Now it's 3
Hmm.
o'clock. I'm still hungry, but I can't eat because now I'm still doing rounds for my second shift. By the
Hmm.
time I get home at 6:30, 6:45, I'm so tired I don't want to eat.
Hmm.
So my cycle has started all over again of
Hmm.
me not eating properly. And I don't mean to like kind of ramble on, but these are some of the things that these young girls, when they get on TikTok and they say, "Oh, I got a bag, I got my Mercedes, I got this, I got that." Honey, why don't you tell them girls you ain't eating 2 days? Please say that. Please let the people know that you truly have not had a decent meal in 2 days.
That's right. You got a
Please let
bag,
them.
but
You
what good
driving
is
your
that
Mercedes,
bag?
right?
You
If your
driving a
kidneys didn't work,
Mercedes.
if your kidneys failing,
You look good behind the wheels of a Mercedes like the
yeah, yeah.
no.
So that's the other thing that sometimes I feel like we need to also let people know that working in caregiving, being a caregiver is not
Mm.
for everyone. It is
It's not.
okay if you are the person who can sign the checks. It's okay to be that person.
It's okay. And it's okay if you're the person who can only go to the grocery store or send the groceries over. That's still part of caregiving. You have done your part. You've done what you are capable and able to do. That is fine.
And you know
That
what?
is fine.
And on another note, and I'm glad you said that. And let's not be the person to get mad at Betty Ann because that's all she can do. Because let me tell you something, smelling what we smell is not for the faint of heart.
It's not.
We smell vomit, we smell feces, we smell urine. And you know what's so sad as a caregiver? I can walk by a room and smell who has C. diff. I can walk by a room and say, oh, they're in renal failure.
Mm-hmm.
I can walk
Mm-hmm.
by a room and say, oh, you need some more water.
Mm-hmm.
But let
Mm-hmm.
me give you some cranberry juice and mix a little bit of water in there. That's what we need to know.
Mm-hmm.
We get so, oh, she can do more, she can do more. Listen, I can't take care of your grandmama, your aunt, myself, and you because you done passed out.
Right. Because I standing in here choosing. No. How about you just go over there?
Go place the Walmart order.
Oh, you should be
Or
working on a grocery list right now.
yeah, go do that. Go to Food Lion
There's
for
some
me.
there, go. There's some dishes in the sink. You don't want to wash them 2 cups? That'll
Yeah,
keep you a little busy for say get your mind
mhm,
off of something
yeah,
else.
yeah, and use a little bleach. So those are also the things that we also need to let people know that it is
Yeah.
okay if you cannot, if healthcare is not for you. And also, like I said before, I'm just going to say it again for these young girls to get on here and they say, oh, I did this, I did that, da 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 da. Also, let the people know you have not had a decent meal in 3 days.
And you ain't
You
sleep
want,
in 2 days.
right? Because guess what? You really want some homemade fried chicken, but you're too tired to even fry the chicken.
Too tired.
To fry the chicken.
Okay. Because you looking at your kitchen like my kitchen is already clean. I mean, I got to clean this up. I got to smell this grease. I got to prepare. I don't want to
Mm-mm.
do all of that. I ain't doing it. I'm going to bed. Good night.
You know what, Ashley? I'm gonna tell you a true story. I worked when I came back from Charlotte. I literally worked the last 10 days, 12 to 16 hours. I did cook a couple of days. I was too tired to come home and wash my dishes. When I finally washed my dishes, I literally was in my kitchen for about an hour, washing the dishes, bleaching my dishes, and wiping things down because all I wanted to do was take my shower and go to bed. So people also need to understand when they get on social media and they want to say this and that and you know
Show the
and
glamour.
you also got to show the ugly side of it also. You got to show
Just
the ugly
like,
side. Healthcare is ugly. Healthcare is ugly.
yeah, healthcare can be ugly, you know, and it's not just healthcare, y'all. So we ain't just saying that healthcare could just be ugly. It's all jobs. Can
All
they
jobs.
all have an ugly side? There's an
I can
ugly
only
side
speak on what I am working in now, the
to it all.
profession that I'm working inside, right, currently.
That's right.
So, you know, all that other aesthetics that people love to have, they bog bag and they little sandal slipper shoe, the clogs, whatever you call the Crocs, and the
Hmm.
Crocs and all that stuff. Honey, let me tell you something. You know why I don't wear Crocs? I wore Crocs a few times. One, they're bad for your feet. That's number one.
Yeah.
But number two, when you are doing showers, emptying catheters, stepping in poop, stepping in vomit, guess what? Now my socks wet.
Hmm.
Now my
And I
socks wet.
sliding all over the place because I ain't got no grip. I need my
And now
sneakers on
you
so
got to
I
fit
can be
look,
gripped to the floor.
look, and now you got to
Yeah.
put somebody vomit in your nice Mercedes.
Because you ain't going to wash your shoes off.
Uh-uh. You ain't take a bleach wipe, but you still got to step in your car.
No thank you. Mm-mm.
Oh,
No, I don't
oh,
want that.
oh, oh, look. Oh, you too cute to gown up because we know this person here got C. diff and they got some type of
Hmm.
something airborne going on. But you don't want, but hey, I digress.
Hmm. Well, prayerfully, you all, we've kind of given y'all some tips. Educate
Mhm.
yourself about
Education.
your parents, their parents. Get you some background history on everybody, because sometimes that helps you to understand what's going on
Hmm.
with you.
Hmm.
It can help you out with your kids,
Yeah, educate
But
yourself. Educate your children
educate.
about you.
That's right. Right. That's right. And that's part of keeping the lines of communication open,
Think,
which is
think
tip
of it.
number 2. You got to keep the lines of communication
Hmm.
open, and you ain't gonna like everything that's being said, and it's okay. It's
Hmm.
all right. Take a moment to digest it, and what you don't understand, Ask questions.
That's right.
That's
That's
all
right.
to that. Ask questions. And then you also want to make sure that you're developing a support system.
Mm-hmm.
Develop a support system for yourself, in the caregiving realm. Ask questions. Talk
Mm-hmm.
about it. It is okay. Sometimes things happen, and talking about it a lot is therapeutic for some people. Talk
Mm-hmm.
about it. It's all right. Also you want to prioritize your self-care.
Mm-hmm.
That's just you got to do that. And then also financial planning. Get your house in order.
Different topic, different day.
That's it. And don't forget we're all going to be faced with challenges. Don't let the
Mm-hmm.
challenges scare you into not making good decisions. There's times that
Yep.
don't make a decision right then and there if you recognize that you are emotionally off balance. Don't make
Yep.
a decision right then. Wait a couple of days. Give yourself some time. Show yourself some grace.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not easy being in this world,
Mm-hmm.
embarking on caregiving, the caregiving journey, it requires preparation. It requires empathy and resilience.
Mm-hmm.
By understanding that landscape through statistics, acknowledging the challenges, and implementing proactive strategies, we can provide compassionate care for our loved ones while maintaining our well-being.
Amen.
You know, so we invite you, listeners. We want you to drop us a comment to the bottom, hit like, hit share, hit subscribe, hit the notification button so that way you are notified every time we upload a new
Mm-hmm.
video. I
Yeah.
thank you all for listening. Thank you, Tasha, for always being here so we can have our little powwows and discuss all the goods, the bads, the ins and the outs, honey. Yeah.
That's what I'm
But
here for.
until, hey, there you go. There you go. There you go. Now next week we're gonna try to do some
Let it
good
be a
stuff.
surprise. Let it be a
It's gonna
surprise.
be a surprise. It's gonna be a surprise. But we got some surprises. Don't forget, we're gonna be launching our 5 wishes. I'm sorry, it's kind of light in the paperwork, but it's going to come in a booklet form and you will be
Mm-hmm.
able to upload it PDF wise if you want to purchase it that way, or if you want the actual book that you can hold
Mm-hmm.
on to. And then we also have our end of life planner coming. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. And
Oh my
in
God.
there,
Like the furnace system. I'm so
we
excited.
listen, in that end of life, it may be a tad bit overwhelming when you first see it, but don't let it overwhelm you. Take a deep breath, grab you something to drink that you like, have a talk with Jesus, and then begin the conversations. And if you
Yeah.
need help with those conversations, once again, drop down in the comments. Tell us what you need assistance with, and let's see if we can help you work it out. And that way we can be a support group together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Definitely.
You know, we can be a support group together. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Tasha, thank you.
Hey.
And y'all have a good day.
Whew, that was a conversation, y'all. We hope you enjoyed today's episode and got a little insight into the world of caregiving.
If you did, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe because trust me, we got plenty more bombs to drop.
And hit that notification bell too, so you never miss an episode. We're bringing the real, the raw, and the unfiltered truth about caregiving.
Got a caregiving story, a question, or just want to say, hey, y'all? Drop it in the comments. We love hearing from y'all.
All right, fam. Until next time.
Take care of yourself so that you can take care of others. That's going to be peace, love, caregiving.
See y'all next week.
Bye.